In this short video, I'm going to be painting up some Shoretroopers for Star Wars Legion. Those cool looking brown armored stormtroopers that you see in Rogue One and Andor. The first thing I'm going to do is prime everything white. I'm going to use an airbrush primer like I'm showing here, or I can use a rattle can as well. Next, I'm going to apply some pre-shading, or splash dash as I like to call it, and I use dark tone about 80% with 20% water, and then I liberally apply it onto all the models that were primed white earlier. This is very similar to slap chop, but a lot easier to apply and less finicky, and after you're done, you get a nice deep pre-shade in preparation for contrast paints or speed paints that are going to follow. The first speed paint that I'm going to put down is Pallid Bone. This goes all over the models. This will give it that nice light brown color that you're looking for. You don't have to be terribly careful. Put it all over the model. I just avoid the guns. Those are going to be painted black later, and I like to leave those white for now. Next, I use Darkwood Speed Paint. This is a nice dark brown, and this works really well on these areas that I'm going to show you on these models. Starting first of all with their pants. Two of the models have trench coats. You'll want to put this on the trench coats as well to make them dark brown. Next, you'll want to put this dark wood onto the shoulder pads as well, right here, and also onto the gloves. This area around the neck, both front and back, get the dark wood speed paint. And also these areas around the armpits, front and back. I also used this dark brown color on these two straps on the lower abdomen area. For this heavy weapon trooper, you'll want to paint the sling of his blaster with dark wood as well. Next, I switched to Grim Black Speed Paint, and this goes on all the guns. This is a very simple paint to put on. Since you left these areas white earlier, putting this Grim Black on will immediately paint the model relatively black, and then on the highlighted areas it will look slightly grayer, and this basically is a one application paint, and after that you're all set with all the weapons. When you're working on these troopers, make sure to also paint this mortar right here. It'll want to be fully black as well. I also used this Grim Black paint on all the shoes. Next, I switched to Highlord Blue Speed Paint, and I apply this onto all the lenses of these Shoretroopers. Now you'll want to use a very fine detailing brush for this, and then just carefully apply it onto the lenses. Make sure they don't overflow onto the helmet. Next, it's time to apply the different markings to the uniforms. This is what I found on the web that basically differentiates all the different Shoretroopers depending on their roles. Now I do this mainly to add some color and variety to my models. I pick one of them to be a squad leader, and here I'm going to be painting both of his pauldrons left and right in this Highlord Blue. Next, I picked the leader model to be a captain. Over here, he's going to have a blue pauldron on the left, accompanying some blue on the upper part of his breastplate. I go ahead and apply this Highlord Blue paint in these areas. There is also a little streak of blue right on his left forearm right here. You want to apply a medium strip of blue all the way around. There are two troopers that I would consider heavies, the one with the mortar and then the other one with the special heavy weapon. For these guys, I'm going to be painting both their pauldrons blue, and then I'm also going to paint the upper part of their breastplate blue as well. There's also another marking feature for these guys. They're going to have a stripe of blue going up and down the front of their helmet. I freehand this in carefully, first starting with the snout area of the helmet, and then after that working on the little plate that's on top of the helmet. I also apply the blue stripe on top of the forearms for both these models. I next use blood red speed paint, and this is going to go on the upper right arms of all the models except for the troopers. So you want to apply it right here on any of the models that you have designated as a special model. For instance, the leader model right here, or this squad leader, or any of the heavies, and so on. I also decided to make one of my models a sniper, and this guy is going to get 2 red pauldrons left and right. I next switched to matte black Fanatic paint. This is an acrylic paint, not a speed paint, and I'm going to be applying it onto all these white striped areas that I'm showing here. You'll want to apply the layer of black first. You'll paint it all across the pauldrons according to the uniform guide as you go along, and then the ones like the heavies will have 2 stripes, one on the left, one on the right pauldron. You want to apply the black first like this, and then this is going to be followed up by white Fanatic acrylic paint after the black is fully dry. You'll want to apply it with a very small detailing brush and then carefully freehand these stripes onto the pauldrons, but making sure some of the underlying black shows up on the top and the bottom. I really enjoyed adding all these colors as well as stripes onto these Shoretroopers. They were a lot more fun to paint than the generally white and black Imperial Stormtroopers. At this point, I'm all done with these very simple to paint figures. I just use some black primer just to clean up the bases like this. It just gets rid of all the paint splatter that happened during the priming phase and makes everything nice and neat. To finish off the bases, I keep it fairly simple, just some green flocking and Elmer's or white glue. Apply it onto the base and then dunk it into flocking and you're all set. After that, just protect everything with 1 or 2 coats of matte clear varnish. Here are some pictures of the completed Shoretroopers. These were really fun to paint. I had a lot of fun with them. It only took me an hour to get all these 7 models painted, and now they're ready for the tabletop and a game of Star Wars Legion. Thank you for following along, and I hope you join me for future videos. Until then, happy hobbying and have fun.